Hello, my name is Ripley. Welcome to the video.
What's up, schmucks? Today, we continue our Christmas movie marathon with The Polar Express. Now, originally, I intended to review 4 movies, ending with The Polar Express, because I deemed it my least favorite Christmas movie. But I decided to change up the order to accommodate for potential special guests. So anyway, let's review this shit show of a film. But before that, this video is sponsored by and brought to you by the G Words Podcast. It's not actually a sponsor. I just like doing this joke. The G Words Podcast is the podcast I do with my friends where we have wonderful and insightful conversations like this.
Alright, next fucking question, dude.
This one seems fucked. I was just like skimming the first couple words. Would you rather get part of the skin on your dick torn off because it got stuck on someone's braces? Or get a hand job from someone who just ate buffalo wings, causing your penis to feel like it's on fire?
Buffalo wings.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, part of the skin, does it have to be a lot?
Yo, dude, I don't care. The pain on that is temporary. The scars for the first one are forever, dude. Yeah, buffalo wings.
That's a good point. So if that's something you'd like to listen to, the links are down below. So let's move on to Killing the Polar Express because it sucks. We open on Christmas Eve night, where an older version of our protagonist gives a voiceover that feels a little unnecessary. But hey, whatever. We aren't here to nitpick, that comes later. There are only a few named characters in this movie, and I don't feel like referring to this little prick as the protagonist over and over again, so I'm just gonna call him Greg. So Greg is a non-believer, I guess, but he seems more undecided than unbelieving, but it hardly matters because just like that, the Polar Express rocks up, and Greg is greeted by the tickets please guy. So before the Polar Express showed up, it stopped the clock, which implies a couple of things. One, this is all a dream, but come on, it definitely isn't. And the second thing it kind of implies isn't really implied, as it is blindingly obvious, but it opens the door to a series of questions that are never answered. And that is that this is a magic train. So this is a magic train, but also it's not? Because even if it is magic, it still works like a normal train. So how magical is it really? Like, it's magical enough to exist and travel to and from the North Pole, and it can freeze time apparently, and other kinds of shit like that, and yet it's not magical enough to avoid simple mechanical malfunctions? Why would you design it that way? If it's a magic train going on a track this dangerous, then why would it be prone to normal problems that would almost definitely occur? Even better, why design a track that dangerous? Or even betterer, just teleport the train to and from the North Pole and give the children a chance to get on a tour and explore and see some cool things. Santa clearly has the technology for it. This is a long, boring movie where nothing of note happens for long chunks of it, and now is one of those chunks, so I'm gonna nitpick a couple things to pass the time. Why do they need tickets? It's a magic train that seemingly picks its passengers. So if they're there, then they're there because they were chosen. So there's no need for a ticket. The ticket is never important either. The tickets please guy just punches a little thing in it later to highlight pretend character growth. Do they tell the kids the schedule?
It's just another pickup. That's weird. I thought you were supposed to be the last one.
I should mention this here, but this movie is just convenient inconveniences happening for an hour and a half. Here's one.
Hey, what are you doing? You're gonna get us all in trouble.
Why does Greg assume the girl, who I'm gonna call Lashana, isn't coming back? Why does he freak out? Lashana and Tickets Please guy were gonna bring Billy some hot chocolate and then come right back. But it's because of Greg's little bitchness that he loses her ticket and gets her in trouble. Kinda. Again, convenient inconvenience. So Greg decides to save Lashana because he's under the impression she's about to get Spartan kicked off the train. So he makes his way to the roof and he encounters Homeless Henry. Homeless Henry is never explained. Where did he come from? Why is he here? Is he a Christmas ghost? My headcanon is that he's the former Tickets Please guy, but instead of being able to retire like a normal person, he's a ghost stuck on this train, which makes sense to me. So Henry overstays his welcome really quickly, and he goes from being a slightly interesting character to being incredibly annoying. Henry gets Greg to the front of the train where he finds finds Lashana, and here we get another segment of convenient shit happening to cause inconveniences. It gets more egregious as the movie goes on, but here we have some caribou just hanging out. Are you telling me there's no contingency for this? It's implied throughout the movie that this has been happening for years, the whole Polar Express thing, so no one ever thought ahead that this could happen, and this never happened before to the point where you would have a plan in case this happened again. Also, magic train. It's a magic train. There shouldn't be bullshit like this happening to inconvenience the train. But the movie's got a movie. So after some shenanigans, we get the fucked up train track sequence. I desperately wish there were a few cutaways to the kids in their train car just bouncing around and smashing their heads on the floor and the windows. That'd be amazing. Also, why wouldn't you make the train track go higher? Why would you build it so close to the water that the water could cover it and freeze over it? This puppet sequence always fucked me up when I was a kid. But why is Henry bothering Greg? He was being really friendly earlier, and now he's just being a dick for no reason. And then we get the out of place music sequence. Have you noticed how I'm just kind of listing shit that happens in this movie? Because that's what this movie is. This doesn't follow a plot where things develop and things fold over into the next scene. It's just shit happening over and over again. It's like this movie didn't have a script. It just had a list of bullets on a couple pieces of paper, and they were like, yeah, well, it looks like this is what we're doing. All right, Tom Hanks, you get in that booth, you're gonna record like 10 fucking lines for 8 different characters. And he's like, I mean, I... This sequence is treated like a musical, and I don't know why. It's an original song that portrays our characters' emotions and thoughts of their situation with artificial music that only they can hear. The hot chocolate one doesn't count because that was more of a routine that the staff had ready to go. This is a proper musical number, but why is it here? Why does this happen? What the fuck is going on? So I watched this movie at about 1 in the morning while I was half asleep, and I took some notes that I don't remember taking, and I'd like to read them to you. How many times are things gonna go down big ramps? Why do the elves all have New York accents? I mean, I love it. I think that's a great creative decision, but why is that a thing?
No, sir. This kid's name is, Steven. So, what do we do, Chief? Like the big man? We talking nothing for Christmas here?
How the fuck did Melvin keep up with our main characters without them noticing? Also, for him to be buried in these presents beneath Greg and his friends, he would have had to get ahead of them. But when would that have happened? They took too many specific turns for Melvin to just guess where they were going and get ahead of them. Greg not hearing the bells during the ceremony is actually really cool, up until it's laid out for you like you're a fucking moron. This song chant is so threatening. It's like a less subtle version of the cult from Midsummer. All you have to do is tell yourself you believe and you will. It's as easy as that. There you go. Obviously, Greg was gonna get the first gift of Christmas because he's the protagonist, but it should have been Billy. He's clearly been through some shit and he probably deserves it more. Instead, he gets a verbal pat on the back from fucking Santa Claus. And then he looks at Greg and goes, hey, are you the main character? Yeah? Alright, present's yours, buddy. The Polar Express isn't international, it's just for Americans, so fuck anybody who lives anywhere else. And that's the end of my notes. I don't know why I started taking notes towards the end of the movie, but it doesn't matter, let's move on. And then the movie starts to wrap up as Greg goes home to a family who probably doesn't love him, and he wakes up on Christmas morning where he rips his robe again like he did in the beginning, which seems to imply that the night before didn't happen, but it definitely did because of the bell and the note. I feel like they wanted an obscure ending, but realized they also wanted a heartwarming ending that utilizes the bell, so it tries to do both and it just confuses the audience. That's pretty bad. Tom Hanks gives an outro as he goes on about Christmas spirit and hearing bells and other stuff I don't really care about. This movie lost me at the 10-minute mark and it never really recaptured me, so anything that's happening now, I don't give a fuck. As a child, I didn't understand this movie because I thought it required big brain energy. But as I got older, I realized it doesn't require big brain energy because it's just a stupid movie. It isn't about anything, and it's just an aimless mess of shenanigans happening to try and manifest a conflict and a plot. Oh no, Greg lost the ticket. Let's deal with the effect of that really quick. Oh no, the train piece cracked the ice because of bullshit physics. Let's deal with the effect of that really quick. Oh no, Greg stepped on a thing that got he and his friends lost. Let's deal with the effect of that really quick. That's all this movie is. There's no substance to it. It's just shit happening for an hour and a half, which is what I said about the Santa Claus. I also can't find any charm this movie might have because the characters aren't characters. They don't even have names. I can't get attached to a pack of snot-nosed, no-name kids. That ain't happening. The animation is fine, I guess. It was probably revolutionary for the time, but it never really appealed to me. I always thought it looked wonky and weird. So in the end of the day, I do feel The Polar Express is a garbage film that's about nothing, and it means nothing. Greg's disbelief in the spirit of Christmas is never important, and he only ends up believing because he tells himself to. But nothing interesting happens if he does or doesn't believe, so it doesn't matter. There's no meaningful development to be had with his character, so it feels like this whole adventure is kind of a big waste. If he went home and didn't believe in Santa, it wouldn't have mattered. He still would have had a Christmas, so there's no threat of him not believing and that having an impact. That's not a thing. This movie's really boring too. It's an hour and a half long, but I swear to God I watched it for 2 hours. I really don't know if I would call this my least favorite Christmas movie. I have seen some shit, man. So calling this my least favorite Christmas movie of all time might actually be a stretch, but I would definitely call this one of the weaker Christmas movies and definitely one of the weaker children movies I've ever seen. Kids are smart. They deserve a film with more to sink their teeth into, and The Polar Express just doesn't offer that. So in conclusion, The Polar Express sucks. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a fantastic day, and Merry Christmas.
This concludes the video.